Before I get started, I should tell you that this is my second take on this topic. I had the rare event of a catastrophic failure of the memory card, so you didn't see me open this product that's in a bubble pack using an angle grinder. It's about the only safe way to open this type of frustrating packaging. A point to make is that I'm not doing this review like I do most reviews. Typically, I learn along the way just like you do. That is, I don't know how it will turn out at the end. Granted, I may try the product enough so that I actually, in some cases, know what I'm talking about, but I generally won't know until the end, just like you. I don't do in-depth reviews because there are so many reviews available that gets down to the facts that only maybe 0.1% of the viewers are interested. For me, I see if the design is good enough to use, maybe not the best, but not too bad to do the job at a fair price point. So let's get started with this review. This is the Harbor Freight Ames CM100A 1000A TRMS AC/DC clamp meter with the normal price of $100 as of March 2021. I'm sorry that you didn't see the plastic fly while opening the bubble pack. It almost looked like a rainbow. So all I can do is show you the meter out of the carrying case. Maybe for some this is exciting. Is this meter worth the moolah? Let's see what this puppy can do. I'm Scott Boehm. They call me the old farmer. Harbor Freight has come out with what is believed to be a better meter than the Centec. Definitely, it can do more things than my old analog meter, which takes a 15-volt 504 battery at $15 each. The Ames uses a 9-volt battery. I've been eliminating things that use 9-volt in AAA batteries. So far, I have changed my stud finder to one that runs off of AA instead of the typical 9-volt. I've even gotten rid of all my smoke and carbon monoxide detectors that run on 9 volts and switched to AA batteries. If I get one free, I will use the Harbor Freight Blue Box flashlight. It seems like just about every flashlight I've seen from Harbor Freight uses a bucket full of AAA batteries. I would not buy one. So right out of the box, this Ames has two negative strikes against it in my book, the bubble pack and the 9-volt. Let's see if it can overcome these negatives. This is all of the stuff the CM100A can do. You might want to get a wheelbarrow to carry everything it does. AC/DC current, 1000 amp. Jaw opening, 40 millimeter or 1.6 inches. DC voltage, 1000 volt. AC voltage, 750 volts. Resistance, 60 mega ohms. Capacitance, 99.9 microfarads. Frequency, 10 kilohertz. Display, 6000 counts. Auto ranging, auto power off, diode test, audible continuity. Data hold, low battery indicator. Relative measurement. True RMS, built-in work light, inrush measurement, motor starting current, built-in non-contact voltage measurement. The Ames comes with a case, probes, battery, and instructions. Let's see what the clamp will do. It says it will tell us if there's 110 volts in a wire. It doesn't display the voltage. If it beeps and flashes a light, it should be able to display the voltage. Granted, it needs to have the wire split to do currents, that is amperage, but it is telling us that it sees the volts through the process of induction, the same process that it sees amperage, induction. Now, an induction reading is not as accurate as reading with direct contact probes, but it should be close enough for most readings. For something like reading 110 or 220 volts on an analog meter, I don't even look at the numbers. The position of the needle on the face of the meter is usually close enough. But if I'm having a voltage issue, I would actually look at the numbers because house voltage can be normal, yet be as low as 110 or as high as 127. The average voltage is 117 volts most times. It all depends on where you read the voltage on a sinusoidal wave. That's why there's so many numbers for house voltage at 110 and 220. If you want to know the actual power, get the RMS voltage and multiply by the amperage. Okay, this is a 12-volt power supply that I'm checking out. Regrettably, I do not have a capacitor or diode to test. It may be me, but if I finally get everything set the way it should be for the test I'm doing, it then jumps back to default, which means I have to reset the functions in the range again. I'm not happy. It says it's supposed to be 12 volts. I would want to set things to my default settings and leave it there. If I have something specific outside of my defaults, I would adjust the settings. Looks more like randomness. But when I again turn on the meter, I would want them to go to my defaults, not some factory defaults based upon nothing that would be normal for me to do. It's different with mechanical switches. It's a quick few clicks and I can easily see where I'm at. Okay, complicated in using. Yeah, since there's no load on it, I could see 12 volts. Okay. Now, the question is, will it read a battery? There we go. Here's this at. No, it's not supposed to be dragging things all over the place. I got it set up. There we go. Okay. Okay, that looks about right. No load on a 12 volt power supply, so that looks okay. How about the battery? This is probably a 3/4 charged battery. See if I can get it to work. Yeah, that's about right. That looks good. Now let's see what some of you have told Harbor Freight about the meter. Measures inrush current. Bought over a week ago and am very pleased with being able to measure the inrush current for my refrigerator, freezer, and desktop PC. Was surprised to find out the desktop PC, an old model, had the highest inrush current. Need this info to determine the sequence for turning on when using generator power. Well made, very good quality, rugged, great features. Great meter. I have been an auto mechanic all my life and got used to buying the expensive tools, so never really thought that a Harbor Freight meter would be very good, but it was the only one I could find with a capacitance scale, so I bought it. I'm very glad I did. It works well and appears to be of good quality. The only thing missing is the test of time, so I'll let you know again in 10 years. Until then, I would say I totally recommend the meter to anyone. Works as it should. Works as it should. Very accurate and sensitive. The sensitivity for the no-contact voltage test is remarkable. It's extremely accurate on impedance tests and voltage tests. Only downside is the overall size. We couldn't find enough 1-star reviews, so we had to go all the way up to 3-star reviews. Too big for a residential breaker panel. The wife purchased it for me, and when I saw it, I flipped out at its huge size. Did not open the sealed package. Took it back and exchanged it for the Centec model, even though it doesn't have the DC range which I wanted. It works okay. Using it for DC current measurement is a bit funky, and I never get the same reading, but it gives you an idea about how much current is flowing through a DC current. Now for 2-star reviews. Unable to get inrush current from air conditioner circuit. Ability to test AC/DC. I have had tester for 2 weeks and have used it half a dozen times, but as stated above, could not get inrush mode to work. Poor temperature rating. Download and read the specifications before buying, especially the temperature rating. As stated, they are so low as to make the meter worthless in just about any climate. I hope they're just a typo, but when I called, they were not able to confirm that and have yet to reply with what they found. If they did actually follow up as they said they would. The manual says the temperature range is from 18 centigrade, that's 64.4 degrees Fahrenheit, to 28 centigrade, 82.4 Fahrenheit. And yet the primary suggested usages of the meter include HVAC technicians. Such a rating renders the meter only usable indoors and before the AC goes out. Storage in the tool bins of my truck in Tucson, Arizona summers can exceed 130 degrees Fahrenheit. And while I wouldn't be surprised to see the screen go black at that temperature, as does my cell phone, I would hope that no permanent damage would occur. Unfortunately, Harbor Freight has not confirmed anything. I gave 2 stars pending their response, but would upgrade to 4 aside from the temperature ratings. I know it's not a fluke, but I'm hoping it will take Tucson temperature. Summer 2019 will tell. And now for the only 1-star review. I have a problem, no technical information. I was getting ready today to think about getting a new voltage meter, went to your website, clicked on the voltage meter, looked good, but soon as I clicked on the video, I was hear music and not technical information. When I hear music in the video when it first starts, I'll stop immediately and go on somewhere else. But I'm letting you know, having music and video does not help because it does not explain the product in a way I should purchase this product. So in the future, please get rid of all the videos with music and start from scratch. This means all technical products, such as welders and any test equipment, drill presses, any of your good electrical stuff. I want to see proper information. No music. Thank you so much. It will improve your sales. I'm in the process of rewiring my Farmall A tractor. Some of the wiring is failing and the lights don't work. Some of the wiring also has several splices along the way, and that is a place where problems can occur. It appears by the information provided by Harbor Freight the clamp would read voltage. It does not. Not through the clamp. And that's why I bought the meter. If I have to use probes to see voltage, there is no reason for me to have this meter. I could even get the 504 battery for my analog meter or go back to using the Centec 7 function meter. I have 2 of those. As for taking voltage readings with the meter, you don't actually have to have a battery. The voltage itself will move the meter if it's analog. Since this is a remake of this review because of the memory card problem, it gave me time to call Harbor Freight tech support to see if I'm missing something. I'm not. When I bought the meter, I got the warranty package with it. If you buy a meter from Harbor Freight other than the $7 Centec, I would get the warranty package. You could drop the meter, blow it up, or the thing may die an unduly early death. But for me, I hate to say it, I'm taking it back to the store. The reason why you can't measure current in an extension cord with a clamp is that one wire will cancel out the current in the other wire. This is why you have to use a splitter to read current with a clamp meter. I'm surprised they haven't come out with a meter that could handle phase cancellation so that amperage could be read in a power cord. It would have to be some kind of a computer chip to do the reading. But voltage is different. If the meter can beep and flash a light when seeing high voltage, it can display it too, even if it's not the most accurate reading. Most times you don't need a very accurate reading. If you do, use the probes. The millivolt readings are random. When I tried to read a battery, it appeared to be random until I got all the buttons and switches where they are supposed to be. It's hard to read what function and range it's in. I only had to be near the power, and the 110-volt alarms went off. This may make it difficult to read lower voltages. I don't like the probes that came with the meter. The contacts are extremely small. They don't have to be as long as for the 7-function Centec meter, but maybe half between what is given with the Ames and the Centec. Tools are supposed to make our jobs easier and better. While technically it did everything except reading volts with a clamp, it is not an easy tool to use. I wanted to compare readings with the Centec, but it's not working for some reason. It might need a new battery. Besides, I think I've had it for more than a decade and only replaced the battery once. The meter kind of reminds me of the new cars these days. The easiest thing to do with them is to drive. Everything else is mostly fiddling with it, trying to figure out how it works, and then arguing with it to do it. So for me, I bought the meter for voltage clamp readings. It could, but won't display the voltage by induction. Most likely, I would never use it for the other features because of all the fiddling. I'll use a more simple meter. If I needed to replace my meters, which are strictly probe-style meters, maybe I would get the Ames CM100A. But for me, the $7 Centec is good enough. If I can't use a clamp for reading voltages. Do you think Harbor Freight pulled another gotcha? Let me know what you think down in the comments. Harbor Freight is coming out with some great tools, but for some folks, there is a trust factor, and the Ames CM100A could build on this distrust factor. I blame most of this on the marketing department. I'm surprised Harbor Freight hasn't had an attorney general or two breathing down their necks, all because of the marketing department. Before I go, my front office has reminded me to remind you that we need some help from you folks. YouTube says that we need at least 1,000 subscribers. We have enough watching time. Thank you. But if you could subscribe, comment, always family-friendly verbiage, please, and give a thumb. And don't be afraid to share the video. It will help tremendously. So far, we have lost one camera and now a memory card. If we could meet YouTube's goals, we would be getting a pittance to help offset expenses. All the reviews I have given have been paid out of my own pocket. So if you could do the clickety-doo-dahs that YouTube wants, we would be most grateful. Well, this is the old farmer, Scott Bame. Be well.